Hi, second graders. Today what we are going to do is we are going to continue on our botany voyage, and we are going to be talking about seeds. Because as we learn about plants, seeds are one of the most important things that we can know about, because all plants, with a couple exceptions, start from seeds, right? Ferns don't. We already talked about that. They have spores, okay? But most plants always start from a seed. So today we're going to be getting into our garden kit. We're going to get out some of the seeds that are in there, okay? And we're also going to be getting out some of our seed starters because you guys are going to get to plant today. So you're going to get out this worksheet. We are going to read the book, A Seed is Sleepy. You can see it right here. Okay, we'll read that. And then we're going to get to plant our seed and watch as it germinates and grows. All right, so go ahead and get this sheet out, and we will catch you up in just a second. All right, second graders, so just like I said, we're going to be doing this worksheet today, okay? It says seeds are the future, and we're going to be getting out our garden kit. So from our garden kit here, you're going to open it up, and we're going to be getting out these bean seeds. Okay, you can get out one or two. Okay, you might have a couple. And then you're also going to get out a seed starting pellet. All right? And then you can go ahead and put your garden kit away. You got what you needed out for the day. Okay? And we are going to talk a little bit about seeds. Okay? And then we're going to get to plant those seeds into, if you want this, you can use the seed pellet. If you don't, you can use something else as well. Okay? It's your experiment. Excuse me. It's your experiment to play with. All right? If you think a wet paper towel is going to work really well, you can use a wet paper towel instead of this seed pellet. It's totally up to you. But what we're going to do is we're going to talk a little bit about seeds and the process of a seed becoming a plant. So you can see here, okay, this is a time-lapse photo of a seed germinating. Okay, seeds germinate by growing sprouts and roots. Roots and shoots is what a lot of people say. So you can see here, this is the seed. Okay, we've added something to it, most likely water. Okay, most likely a substrate, which is like a dirt or another type of structure, like it could be a paper towel. Okay, and we've probably added some sunlight, right? And of course, air. And it started to germinate. It's gone from a seed, just a plain seed like this, right? These will stay for a long time. They don't need to be watered. They don't need really anything. They can sit in a dark cabinet and they're going to stay like this, all right? But once you add a couple of those magical components, like water and substrate and sunlight, okay, it's going to start to become a plant. And that's what we call germinate. When it becomes a seed, it goes from just a regular seed like this into a plant. It's what we call germination. Okay, and so you can see here it starts getting a root first, and then it'll get another sprout that becomes that stem of the plant, and then the stem will grow leaves. Okay, and then more roots will start growing out of the bottom. All right, and so this time frame this is probably over a couple weeks. This change has happened. It doesn't happen overnight. Okay, it takes a while to change from this all the way into this plant here. All right, so over here we've got a good diagram of pretty much looks like our bean right here. Okay, and so you can see there is a coat to your seed, which is kind of like a protective shell. And you can see I've started to chip mine away here. Can you see that change in color? It goes from that shiny white to kind of more of a beige. So there's a seed coat, and you can chip it away with your fingernail. You probably wouldn't want to use anything that sharp like scissors because you don't want to damage the seed underneath, right? You don't want to damage it. But some seeds, like lupins, like to have that coat. It's so hard. The seeds germinate better if this is chipped away a little bit. Okay, so sometimes gardeners will make a little strike it with a blade a little bit to kind of allow something to get through that outer shell a little easier. All right, so for you guys, if you want to use your fingernail and kind of chip away at this white, you can see it's coming off right now. You can see the white on my finger. Okay, again, it's up to you. You are going to experiment and see what you think ideal germination conditions might be. Okay, So like, would putting it in Gatorade, because Gatorade makes you feel better after a soccer game, do you think it would make the seed feel better? Probably not. So you're going to figure out what would make it germinate as fast as it can into a healthy plant. All right. So there's this seed coat on the outside, and then inside is the embryo. All right. And then all the rest of it is basically food for this seed to help ensure that it is a nice, healthy plant as it grows and germinates. All right. And then we're going to talk a little bit about how seeds travel. All right. And we're going to do that over the next few weeks as you're out looking for seeds on seed hunts and stuff like that. Okay. Think about, how does this seed travel? There are a couple different ways. So you can tell in this first column, this is air. Okay. Seeds travel by air. And a great one, a good example of this is, can anybody tell me? This one right here, dandelion, right? We probably have some of these right now. It's springtime, okay? You probably have some dandelions out in the lawn or in the park by where you live. And so air is a big one. Maple seeds, okay, like the helicopter seeds that kind of spin as they fall, right? Air is a big way that seeds travel, all right? When a big gust of wind comes and you see these seeds kind of coming off the tree and going into the wind, it's ensuring that those seeds spread out from that mother plant, and it ensures a better chance of survival for those seeds. Okay. Another way seeds can travel, this one, is by attaching to animals. If you have a dog and you like to go hiking maybe in different areas, chances are that dog might come back with some seeds on them. Okay, a lot of these ones, like beggar ticks or sandbirds or blackberries even, they'll attach. They kind of have these little thorns or hooks that they attach to animal hair and kind of get trapped in them. Okay, so that's a big one. Another one is these ones, a lotus, a cattail, and a coconut. How do we think a coconut travels? So it's really big, right? A coconut is a palm tree seed, basically. Okay, it's really big and it floats in the water. So these are all designed to travel in water, all right? So I'm going to use my blue pen. And I'm going to write water up here. Perfect. And next up we have a couple that, these ones are really cool. So violets, jewelweeds, and witch hazel. All of these move by basically exploding. It's pretty cool. If you wanted to do an experiment at home that kind of replicates this, you could take a balloon, don't blow it up, but put some seeds in it, okay? And then blow the balloon up with the seeds inside the balloon and tie it up, and then go outside somewhere and then pop the balloon and watch what happens to the seeds. They kind of explode and go in all different directions. All right, that's what these do. They basically pop or explode. We're going to say pop. Pop. We'll put an exclamation point because it's definitely quite a big production when the seed pops, pop, and the seeds go everywhere. And last up we have these things. Bean, wheat, cherry. Okay. I can tell you apple could get added to this. All different types of fruits. So how do we think these seeds move? They move by being eaten, right? They wait for an animal like a bear to come, or even a human. But usually it's bears or foxes, right? And they will eat the fruit. And then what happens is the animal poops out the seeds. And usually by then the animal is far away from that original plant. And so that seed is ready to be transplanted somewhere else. So we've got air attaching to animals, water, popping or explosions, and being eaten. Right? Seeds move all sorts of cool ways. So keep that in mind as you think about different seeds out in your neighborhood. Okay? So next up, what we're going to do is we are going to read A Seed is Sleepy. And then at the end, we're going to go ahead and we are going to work on planting some seeds to get ready. So while we're waiting, what I would recommend you do is if you're going to use one of these planting discs, I would get a cup, like a coffee mug or a bowl, a shallow bowl, and you're going to fill it up with warm water, okay, from your sink. It doesn't have to be hot water. Warm water works faster. If it's cold water is fine too. But you're going to put this in your bowl and let it sit for about 15 minutes while we're reading this story. And then it's going to poof up, okay, and be ready to plant. It's going to get to be about this tall. All right, so put this in a cup or bowl full of water. And while we're reading, it's going to be soaking that water up so that we can plant it. You can see here, okay, this is my little bowl, okay, and here we go. This is my seed pellet that puffed up. I added some water to it, okay. So you're just gonna fill a little shallow bowl with some water and let that puff up while we're reading the next book, okay. All right, I will see you back here for A Seed is Sleepy. All right, we are going to read A Seed is Sleepy by Diana Hutz Aston and Sylvia Long. So you can see, I love the illustrations of this book. Okay, this is a Texas mountain laurel pod. And you can see the sunflower here, like we usually have in the garden in fall. Okay. And then in the very front cover of the book, are dandelion seeds, which are always fun. But seeds are everywhere. You just need to know where to look. All right, and we just talked about how they travel. So think about that as we look at different seeds, right? There are certain clues that help give away how a seed might travel. You can see the little hooks on this cocklebur, right? So how do we think that one travels? It hooks on the animal's fur, right? Nice job. Okay, you can see these tendrils kind of here, like the dandelion. So I make the assumption that these ones travel by air. All right, so keep that all in mind. A seed is sleepy. A seed is sleepy. It lies there tucked inside its flower, on its cone, or beneath the soil, snug and still. So this is the sunflower, right? And those are all the sunflower seeds on that. A seed is secretive. It does not reveal itself too quickly. So this is a Texas mountain laurel, and this is the flower that it comes from, the Texas mountain laurel flower. Most seeds sleep through a season or two, waiting for the warmer temperatures of spring, but some take their time. 10 years might pass before the bright red-orange seed of the Texas mountain laurel shows its purple blooms. A seed is fruitful. 90% of plants on earth are flowering plants. Flowering plants produce fruits of all shapes and textures that keep the seeds cozy until they have found the right place to grow. So this is an India almond. This is Guyanese wild coffee, a blueberry, Texas barberry, a papaya, a strawberry. This is called a devil's claw. A seed is naked. Yes, naked. Scientists call gymnosperm seeds that aren't clothed in fruits naked seeds. Most naked seeds hide themselves on the scales of cones until they are ready to make a dash for the ground. Who would guess that a seed as small as a freckle would grow into the world's tallest tree? Only 10% of redwood trees begin as seeds, though. Most redwood trees spring from existing trees. So this is a coast redwood. Can you see it? Look at how big that is. So this is the person right there. And this is 350 feet up here. Seeds come in many sizes. This is an orchid. And you can see all these teeny white things are the seeds. And this is Coco de Mer. The orchid seed is the smallest of all. There might be 1 million seeds in one pod. The seed of the Coco de Mer palm is the largest. It can weigh up to 60 pounds. Wow, some of you guys probably might weigh close to 60 pounds. So this seed weighs as much as you. A seed is adventurous. It must strike out on its own in search of a less crowded place to put down roots. So you can see this is a hop seed, a Japanese maple leaf, milkweed, Japanese maple seed, more milkweed here. You can see the pod kind of opens, and then all these little seeds are ready to take flight. A parachute of fine silky hairs can take a dandelion seed 100 miles from its parent plant. That's pretty far. Drift seeds float on ocean currents from one shore to another, and their thick protective shells keep out seawater. They have enough air inside to help them float. So you can see this is a sea heart and an ear pod, because it kind of looks like an ear. A swamp palm, monkey ladder pod, hog plum, monkey's comb, black palm. This is called a hamburger bean. It kind of looks like a hamburger, huh, from McDonald's. A sea coconut. All sorts of seeds that float on the water. A seed is inventive. To find a spot to grow, a seed might leap from its pod or cling to a child's shoestring or tumble through a bear's belly. A seed hopes to land where there is plenty of sunlight, soil, and water. So yeah, some of you guys, this is a cockleburr, might have seeds that come back, like on your shoelaces, okay, or socks sometimes. You can see the violet, this is one of the ones that explodes. A red huckleberry, this is what bears love to eat. A seed is generous. It gives the baby plant or embryo a seed coat to keep it warm. So these are different types of seeds and kind of how long it takes to grow into the plants. So we'll move it a little bit. So this is a bean, like what we have in our garden kit and what we're going to have grow. So this is 2 days, 4 days, 1 week, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, you have a bean. It says rice, right? If you eat rice, okay, rice is a seed, it's a grain. 3 days, 1 week, 1 month, 2 months, 4 months. So again, it takes longer than the bean. Oh, pumpkins. So as we start to head into summer, you'll see pumpkins start to grow because we harvest them in fall, right? So pumpkin seed, 4 days, 1 week, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. This is slash pine. So this is 1 week, 6 weeks, 2 months, 8 years, it's a tree, and 15 years. It's a nice tall tree. And then this is teak, which is a type of wood that a lot of people use for furniture. So this is 4 days, 1 week, 10 weeks, and 1 year. All right, the embryo's first meal comes from its seed leaves, or cotyledons. Seeds with 1 seed leaf, like corn, are called monocots. Seed with 2 seed leaves, like beans, are called dicots. Okay, so this is the bean. This is that seed leaf, cotyledon. Okay, this is the root right here. And this is the shoot. Some seeds are ancient. Not all seeds are eager to germinate. Some have lain dormant or slept undisturbed for more than 1,000 years. The oldest known seed to sprout came from an extinct date palm tree after it was unearthed from a long ago king's mountaintop palace in Israel. A scientist planted it, and 4 weeks later, it sprouted. Wow, so this is date palm. This is about the size of those seeds. Isn't that cool? So that seed had just sat there and waited and not turned into a plant, right? Not germinated. And somebody came along thousands of years later and planted it, and it grew into a plant. A seed is thirsty and hungry. Once a seed has shed its coat, it drinks in the rain, the dew, and yesterday's icicles. It feasts on minerals in the soil. Part of the seed, the root, feels the tug of gravity and digs down deep. You can see here, right? And here's the second one. So this is what we call a dicot. See, 2 leaves. Another part of the seed, the shoot, is sensitive to light, so it reaches for the sun. So this is corn. You can see planted in the ground. Okay, and this is a monocot, just one. Mono means one leaf. Okay, it grows. A seed is clever. Plants make their own food through a process called photosynthesis. Inside plant leaves are cells containing chemicals that absorb sunlight. Light gives them energy that they need to turn water and carbon dioxide, which is a gas in the air, into food. It knows to seek the sunlight to push itself up through the soil, but it must wait a while before that happens. So this is a bean right here. A seed is sleepy, but only until it has found a place in the sun and it has had its breakfast and a drink of water. Then a seed is awake. So these are all the sunflowers, and you can see these are all sunflower seeds. Okay, they have that kind of black and white stripe. Not all of them have this black and white stripe, but a lot of them do. And so you can see kind of as it grows, it's going to take that shell and it kind of opens up out of the shell with the plant. All right, and these are all the different types of seeds that were in the book. So now what I want you to do is go outside and see what seeds you can find. Okay, maybe you can find, I'm guessing you could find this one. This is a dandelion. Okay. Strawberry, India almond, milkweed, teak, hamburger bean, ear pod. Okay, all sorts of cool seeds out there. All right. All right, so next up, what we're going to do is if you've had your seed pellets soaking in some water, okay, hopefully it looks like this by now, all right? What you're going to notice is that your seed pod, okay, it has like a netting around the outside. This keeps all the dirt in, so you want to keep this on there, all right? This helps keep the dirt in, and what you're going to find is that as the plant grows, roots can kind of grow out of this. So you're just going to plant this in the ground when it's ready to go, okay? You can see here, this isn't the happiest, but this is an artichoke sprout. I don't know if you can see there are little teeny root hairs growing out of this, okay? And so as it continues to grow, it's going to grow some roots out of this and soak up that water, and you can just plant it directly in the ground, right? But so if you have your pellet ready, and again, you can use a wet paper towel instead of the pellet, but what you're going to do is you're going to soak your lima bean, okay, and you're going to put it in your little seed pod here. So you can see there's one in here already. All you do is kind of take it and you're going to wiggle your little finger in there. There's a hole on the top, so you see there's no netting right there. You're going to just press your seed down, pretty much tucking it in. I like to think of it as a nice little tuck in. Maybe once upon a time you got tucked into bed sometimes, right? You just tuck the covers down. That's all you're doing with the dirt around your seed. You're just tucking it in. Is it fun when somebody like puts a ton of covers over you and you feel like you really don't know where up is? No, it's not fun. You don't want to do that to a seed either, right? It wants to kind of be able to see where the top is. So once you've done it, you can see my little seed in there. You can kind of squeeze it, okay, and that's going to loosen the dirt up. And then you're just going to kind of tuck the dirt over that seed. Bam! There you go. And now you've planted your seed, and you're going to see if you can get it to sprout. Okay, I leave it in like these little bowls or a cup. That's fine. You're going to add a little bit of water. Just, you don't even have to pour it here on top. You're going to pour it kind of in the side of the bowl, because what's going to happen then is that this little pod is going to soak it up from the bottom, and it will always be moist. Okay, but that way you don't have to pour it right on the seed. It's the dirt around it that needs the water for the most part, because those roots are going to grow. So what you're going to do is you're going to add a little bit of water so it has its water. And then do you think you should put it, like, should I put it in a dark corner, closet, bookshelf? No. Okay, what does it need? What does it want? It wants some water. It wants some dirt. What's the other thing? Because we're starting to get it now too. It wants some sunlight. Okay, and it's spring. So it's got some sunlight finally. So find a little windowsill, even if you want to put it outside on a porch or on a deck. Okay, you can do that. All right, but just make sure you check on it like every other day. Make sure it has some water. Okay, but it wants some sunlight. It's got its soil. Okay, or if you do it with a paper towel, that'll work too. Okay, and it's gonna want some sunlight and enough fresh air. It likes air. Okay, most of you that's not a problem, but I'm just saying I wouldn't put it in something where it's not gonna get any air, like a sealed jar probably isn't the best idea. Okay, so once it's got those three things, you're going to wait and you're going to see if you can get your seed to germinate. Now, I gave you a couple different seeds. So you can do one like this. You can do another one in a paper towel. Again, if you think, I really feel good when I drink Gatorade at my soccer game when I'm tired, maybe my seed's going to like Gatorade, it's your experiment. Okay, you can go ahead and experiment and see if maybe your seed does germinate better with Gatorade. I would hypothesize, which means guess, probably not. But you know what? It's yours to do with as you want. So experiment around, okay? You can use all of these little seeds in your garden kit. So if you have 3 or 4, you can do 3 or 4 different experiments and see which one germinates fastest. And the next time we meet, you can tell me, all right? Or leave it in the comments or email, okay? You can always email me. I'd love to hear how you got your seed to germinate. All right, you guys, I will see you next time. All right, bye.